Mama, can't wake up. The words cut through the static like a ghost whispering across eternity. Commander Ryan Hale froze inside his cockpit. The transmission repeated, faint, distorted, childlike, echoing through the comms of his old patrol ship drifting in deep space. He stared at the waveform flickering on his console, heart pounding. The signal was weak, but constant. He ran the analysis. Origin, unknown sector. Distance, 14 light years. Then the part that made his blood run cold. Signal timestamp, 10 years old. Impossible, he muttered. There shouldn't be anything alive out there. The galaxy had long abandoned that quadrant. It was the site of a forgotten war, a graveyard of worlds swallowed by radiation storms and silence. But this voice, fragile, trembling, kept calling for help, over and over. Mama, can't wake up. Ryan leaned back, the cabin lights painting his face in cold blue. He hadn't heard a child's voice in years, not since his own daughter died in an evacuation gone wrong. The ache returned instantly, sharp as glass in his chest. He knew the logical choice. Ignore it. The signal was ancient, the source likely long dead, but logic had never saved anyone. Compassion had. Humanity had.
The planet's surface came into view like a scar across the stars. Broken continents, blackened clouds, oceans of ash. Ryan's dropship pierced the atmosphere, the hull trembling under the storm's friction. The AI voice chimed coldly. Warning, radiation levels critical. He ignored it. The landing skids hit ground with a hollow thud. Dust rose in lazy spirals, the kind that spoke of centuries without wind or life. The horizon was littered with the skeletons of alien towers. Curved, elegant structures melted into glass, silent as tombstones. Ryan stepped out, suit lights cutting through the gloom. Each footstep echoed like a heartbeat in a dead world. His scanner picked up faint energy traces, deep underground, and the same broken transmission still whispering through the calm. "Mama can't wake up. Please help." The sound crawled through his helmet speakers, distant yet near, as if the child was standing right behind him. He turned sharply. Nothing, just ruins and static. He followed the signal through the wreckage of what once was a city. Twisted metal, burned alien symbols, half-collapsed bridges that led nowhere. But then, amidst the silence, something glimmered. A small, half-buried pod, its surface cracked and glowing faintly blue. The scanner confirmed. Life signs. 2 faint pulses. Ryan dropped to his knees, clearing the dust with trembling hands. Inside the transparent shell, he saw her. A tiny alien girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old. Pink skin dulled by age, hair the color of faded rose petals. Her small hand was pressed against the pod's glass, frozen mid-motion. And beside her, a motionless figure. Taller, feminine, same skin tone, arm wrapped protectively around the child even in stasis. Ryan's throat tightened. That's her mother. The console blinked red, cryosystem failure. 10 years, maybe more. Yet somehow the pod still hummed faintly, keeping a fragile bubble of life inside. As the storm howled above, Ryan placed his gloved hand over the child's, glass between them, and whispered, "Hang on, little one. I found you." The monitor flickered once, and for a second the girl's eyelids fluttered. Her lips moved faintly, forming the same words he'd heard across light years. "Please, help Mama."
The pod cracked open with a hiss that echoed through the ruins like a sigh from the dead. Freezing mist poured out, glowing faintly blue under Ryan's suit lights. His visor fogged for a heartbeat, and then he saw her clearly for the first time. The alien child gasped for air, her small chest heaving, her eyes wide and glowing faint pink under the frost. She clung weakly to her mother's arm, whispering something in her own language, soft and broken. Ryan's translator struggled, then pieced it together. "Mama, wake up, please." Her mother didn't move. Her body was warm enough to register life, but unresponsive. Pulse faint, breathing shallow. Ryan scanned her. Neural activity low, cryostasis malfunction. She's been in stasis for years. The girl looked at him, tears gathering in her glassy eyes. "You came," she said in halting comment. "You heard me." Ryan froze. You? You sent the signal?" She nodded weakly. "I called every night, every star. You heard me." Something inside Ryan cracked open. 10 years of silence, of distance, and somehow this child had reached through time and space, and he was the only one who answered. He lifted her carefully into his arms. She weighed almost nothing. "I've got you," he murmured. "We're going home." But the word home hung heavy in the air, because behind them her mother's vitals began to flatline. Ryan turned sharply. "No! No, no, no! Come on!" He slammed the emergency injector from his kit into her chest, nanites flooding her bloodstream with energy. "Don't you dare quit on her now!" The storm outside roared louder, lightning flashing against the ruins' walls. For a moment, Ryan thought it was over, but then the pod's shattered console came alive again, flickering erratically. A faint voice crackled through the comm, soft, distorted, the mother's voice. "Protect her, please." The systems overloaded, sparking violently. Ryan shielded the girl as the pod exploded in a wave of light. When the smoke cleared, the ruins were silent again. The girl whimpered softly in his arms, and Ryan looked around. The pod, the mother's body, gone. Only a faint trail of pink luminescent particles floated upward, vanishing into the night. Ryan whispered under his breath, "What the hell just happened?" And then his ship's AI broke through the static. "Commander, we are detecting an anomaly around your coordinates. Time distortion increasing. Recommend immediate extraction." Ryan looked down at the trembling girl in his arms, and for the first time, he realized this was no ordinary rescue. The ship's ramp sealed shut behind them with a low hydraulic hiss, muting the raging storm outside. Rian placed the alien girl gently on the medbed as the ship's lights adjusted to soft, warm tones. Her pink skin shimmered faintly under the scanners, her hair tangled with frost and dust. She looked small, too small to have survived 10 years alone in a frozen tomb. "AI, stabilize her vitals," Rian ordered, his voice steady but low. The medbay filled with the hum of nanodrones and the rhythmic pulse of healing light. The girl stirred, whispering her mother's name in a trembling voice. Rian reached for her hand instinctively, and she clutched his with surprising strength. "She's still out there," she murmured. Rian froze. "Who?" "My mother. I can feel her. She's not gone." Before he could respond, the ship's console flickered. The lights dimmed, then pulsed once, twice, in a rhythm that didn't belong to any system function. The AI's voice crackled, uncertain. "Commander, an unknown data stream is entering our core network. It's originating from inside the ship." Rian frowned and leaned over the terminal. Lines of alien code began scrolling across the screen, symbols he'd never seen before, glowing faint pink like the child's skin. The ship suddenly spoke again, but not in the AI's mechanical tone. It was softer, familiar. "Protect her, please." Rian's blood ran cold. That voice, the same words, the mother's last plea. He stared at the console as it flickered between static and the faint outline of a face, her face, not whole, not living, but suspended in streams of digital light, like a memory desperately trying to form. The girl sat up slowly, eyes wide. "Mama?" Rian turned, his throat tightening. The holographic projection stabilized for a moment, an alien woman's figure shimmering in the air. She was weak, her image flickering, but her eyes were full of warmth. "My child," she whispered, her gaze shifting toward Rian. You saved her." Rian couldn't speak. He just nodded. The AI's alert tone broke the silence. "Commander, I must warn you, whatever this presence is rewriting parts of my core system. I can't contain it for long." The hologram turned her eyes toward Rian again. "Please, let me stay, just until she sleeps." Rian hesitated, then quietly shut off the AI's warning system. The room fell silent except for the hum of the engines. The mother reached out, her hand passing through her daughter's hair like light through mist. The girl smiled weakly, tears in her eyes. "See, I told you she's not gone." And for that moment, Rian believed. Rian didn't sleep that night. The hum of the ship had changed. It wasn't just mechanical anymore. It felt alive, as if someone else was breathing through the circuits. The little girl slept quietly under a thermal blanket, her faint heartbeat syncing with the ship's soft pulse. He sat at the console, watching the streams of alien code drift like glowing dust. And then, her face appeared again, clearer this time. The alien mother. The pink glow on her skin faintly mirrored in the neon reflection of his screen. "Rian," she said, her voice trembling through static. "You came for us." I swallowed. "I heard your signal. I thought it was a recording." "It was. Once," she replied, her tone fragile but steady. "But when the storm hit, I linked myself to the distress beacon. My body didn't survive, but my mind did. I held on, long enough to keep her alive. Rian's chest tightened. You've been here for 10 years? She smiled faintly. Time doesn't pass the same inside the bubble. For her, it was days. For me, eternity. Rian turned toward the medbed. The child stirred slightly, clutching the corner of the blanket. She thinks you're still alive. She needs you. The mother's expression darkened. I am fading. The ship's systems weren't built to hold consciousness. When we enter hyperspace, I'll be erased. Rian stood. There must be a way to transfer you some kind of data vessel, a synthetic host. Her voice softened. If you try to save me, you risk her. The core life support is tied to my link. If I disconnect safely, she lives. If you try to preserve me, she dies. The words hit him like a physical blow. His hands clenched. That's not fair.
She smiled gently. It's not meant to be. A mother's life isn't meant to be fair, only worth it. The ship's lights dimmed again, power rerouting, warning beacons flickered red. The AI stuttered, struggling to keep up with the dual energy signatures tearing through the core. Rian looked at her, the fading glow of her face, the quiet storm of data spiraling like starlight around her image. You're asking me to kill you, he said quietly. She shook her head. I'm asking you to let me go. He turned toward the medbed again. The little girl's hand twitched, reaching out for a mother who wasn't really there. Rian took a long, shaking breath. Then, slowly, he reached for the command console. Goodbye, he whispered. But before he could confirm the sequence, her voice broke through the static once more, soft, desperate. Rian, she's stronger than you think. When she wakes, tell her I kept my promise. I never stopped watching the stars. And then silence. The lights steadied, the power normalized, and from the medbed, a small, trembling voice whispered, Mama? Rian turned. The girl's eyes fluttered open. She smiled weakly. She said goodbye, didn't she? Rian knelt beside her, tears threatening his composure. Yeah, but she made sure you're safe. The girl looked toward the ceiling, eyes glistening with tears that shimmered like the pink glow of her mother's light. She always said stars remember everything. Rian swallowed hard. Then she's still out there. The camera would linger, the ship drifting silently through the void, and one faint pink shimmer still pulsing inside the data core, like a heartbeat refusing to fade.
The jump was violent, like the ship was being ripped through the skin of reality. Rian gripped the console as waves of blue energy swallowed everything around him. When the turbulence stopped, silence filled the cockpit. The void outside stretched endlessly, stars glimmering like frozen fire. The girl was safe, asleep in the medpod. System stable, mission complete. He should have felt relief, but something felt wrong, too still, too heavy, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Then he heard it. A whisper. Soft. Fragile, almost human. Rian. He froze. The voice wasn't coming from outside. It was inside the comms channel, the same encrypted distress frequency that had gone silent when the alien mother's heart stopped. His pulse quickened. He turned the dial with trembling fingers. Who's there? He asked quietly. Static answered. Then the faint sound of breathing. If that's you, talk to me, he said again. The static warped, twisting like something alive inside it. Then came the voice, faint but unmistakable. Her voice. Thank you, Rian. He felt the air leave his lungs. No, that's not possible, he whispered. You saved what mattered most, the voice said, cutting in and out. I'm proud. Rian's eyes filled with disbelief. You're still here, she said. I'm not where you are, but a part of me remained, a memory bound in light. He looked at the medpod. The little girl stirred in her sleep, her tiny hand glowing with a soft pink light, the same hue her mother's energy had once carried. She can hear you, he whispered. I know, the voice replied, almost smiling through the static. Tell her I kept watching. The calm light blinked once, like a heartbeat, and then went dark. Silence again. Rian leaned back, staring out at the stars. One star, just above the ship's nose, shimmered brighter than the rest. He exhaled slowly, realizing it wasn't a star at all. It was her.
Ryan froze in disbelief as the transmission flickered to life. The pod's cracked monitor filled with static, then slowly cleared into a faint blue glow. A voice, soft, trembling, but unmistakably real, echoed through the cabin. Is my daughter safe?" It was her, the alien mother. He stumbled closer, heart hammering in his chest. "Lyra," he whispered. How are you still alive?" The voice was faint, like wind across broken glass. "My body is gone, human, but the field, the time dilation field, it held fragments of me. I don't know how long I've been half awake. I could only watch as you saved her." Ryan swallowed hard, his throat dry. He looked through the viewport at the alien girl sleeping peacefully in the medbay, her chest rising and falling under the soft hum of the oxygen lines. "She's alive. She's safe. You did it." There was silence, then a quiet, choked laugh from the transmission. "No, you did. I only had love left. You gave it shape." Ryan clenched his fists, trying to hold back the emotion surging in his chest. "If you can hear me, if there's any part of you still here, I'll find a way to preserve it. You deserve to see her grow up." But the voice was fading now, dissolving into light. "Promise me, you'll tell her who she was. Tell her her mother never stopped watching the stars." "I promise," Ryan said firmly, tears burning behind his eyes. The transmission cut out, leaving behind only the quiet hum of the ship. For a long time, Ryan stood there, staring at the faint reflection of the girl in the glass, alive because of her mother's will, because compassion had bridged the impossible. Outside the viewport, the distorted remains of the time bubble shimmered and collapsed, scattering across the void like a trail of starlight, her final goodbye, a mother's love drifting through the endless dark.
The stars outside were calm now, distant pinpricks of light scattered over the black sea of space. Ryan sat in the medbay beside the small alien girl who was slowly waking. Her eyes, those same soft violet eyes her mother had, fluttered open. For a moment, confusion clouded her face, then recognition dawned. You're the human," she whispered weakly, her voice fragile but filled with warmth. "You saved me." Ryan smiled softly. "Your mother did most of the saving. I just finished what she started." The girl blinked, tears welling in her eyes. "Mama said she'd come back for me." Ryan hesitated, his chest tightened with emotion. "She didn't leave you. She's part of this ship now. Every star we pass, every light you see, she's there, watching, guiding." The girl looked out through the viewport where streaks of starlight rippled as the ship entered a new system. Her small fingers reached toward the glass. "Then she's flying with us," she said quietly. Ryan nodded, his voice trembling. "Yeah, she's flying with us." Silence fell, heavy but peaceful. For the first time in years, Ryan felt something he hadn't in a long time: hope. Maybe saving one child didn't change the universe, but it changed something inside him, and maybe that was enough. He stood, glancing back at the sleeping girl. "We'll find a new home," he murmured to himself, "a place where she can grow, where she'll never have to send another distressed call again." As he turned toward the cockpit, the lights of the ship flickered just once. The console blinked softly, forming faint words on the display. "Thank you, Ryan." He froze, eyes widening. For a second he thought he imagined it, but then the ship's engine hummed, smoother than ever, almost like a heartbeat, steady, alive. He smiled faintly. "You're welcome." The ship drifted onward through the starlit void, carrying a human, an alien child, and the echo of a mother's love. Proof that even in the endless cold of space, humanity's greatest power wasn't strength or technology. It was compassion.